everyone. This is Jacqueline from She Rises Studios, and welcome to this deliciously exciting author celebration for In and Out of Being Food Blogger by the fabulous Hunyah Irfan. If you've ever snapped a photo of your food before taking a bite, if you've ever dreamed of turning your culinary creativity into content that captivates, or if you're wondering how to actually monetize your foodie passion, this is for you. Punya's brand new book is already making waves. It's an Amazon bestseller in 7 categories in the USA and a whopping 15 categories in Canada. That is a massive accomplishment and a clear sign that this topic is sizzling hot and so needed. Congratulations, Punya.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure to be over here again. So, I'm actually surprised I made it to the bestseller list in a week. So that was actually surprising. 15 categories, like that's a lot.
Which means that your book is actually grabbing attention and is, inspiring people to do what I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about doing blogs and starting their own blogs, but they're just not sure how to do it or where to do it. Now, before we dive into that, can you tell me or can you tell us what inspired you to write In and Out of Being Food Blogger?
Pardon? What's the question?
What inspired you to write this
Well, I
particular book?
figured out there's a lot of books about marketing, social media, but there's no book about food blogging. There's about every other type of
Mm,
blogging, lifestyle blogging, fashion blogging, travel blogging, but we're missing food blogging in there. So food blogging has to be in there. That's what's lacking in the market. Because there's a lot of food bloggers, but there isn't a book about it.
that's true. A lot of helpful materials for other topics, but not really for food. When most people, especially nowadays, you can't really start. So difficult to start a meal without taking a picture of your food first, right?
Yeah.
So, what makes this particular book different from other blogging or influencer guide out there?
What makes this difference is because I'm sharing authentic advice. So I'm pretty much sharing my
Mm,
own original advice from the way how I learned. And with me, I started with nothing, completely unknowing what to do. So I had to learn on my
mhm,
own. I started from just writing blogs into filming blogs and stuff, and eventually it came into one cluster, into
mm,
food blogging, this, that, whatever I do, it comes into the arts. So that's pretty much how I began, and I actually knew no one in the food or in the blogging industry at that time. So I actually made connections myself. So it took me a few programs to attend, few networking sessions, and then I got started then one after the other. Then around the 2 or 3 years of COVID, I created like a content of a whole bunch of different stuff, and I kept on keeping the momentum from going from there. So it's not limited only to food. It's like towards clothes, it's towards movies. So I put everything in there. So because if you make it
mm.
only about food, it's good, but if you make it about food and other stuff, people will be attached to your YouTube channel.
That's wonderful. That's true. That's true. Now, speaking of YouTube, you talk a lot about using different platforms,
Yeah.
including Instagram and TikTok. Which one do you think is really the most important platform for food bloggers right now?
I would say Instagram because it's easy to connect on Instagram. TikTok is a little bit harder to use because it gets more technical than Instagram. Instagram is moderate,
Mm,
and it's like it's mostly you need to use your phone, and it's a very natural thing. You take a picture of it and you share it on social media. If you go with Instagram first, it's a lot easier for you to share than sharing it on Facebook because it takes a lot longer. So that's my opinion.
I see. Okay, that's a good tip. Now, what's one common mistake that new food bloggers make when they start posting online?
I think it's actually finding where to post because there's a lot of like there's like Wix, there's like tons of different websites you can start with, but you have to see which website suits you because there was this European website that I actually started with at the time. It was called Now, like NOUW, and at that time I
Mm,
was just writing blogs. So I actually haven't logged into it almost about 3 4 years now, ever since I've been doing video reviews. So pretty much you can do that, or you could just be a contributor to some to a food blog company and write there and give your food review. I've also done that too. It's a good place to start off, and then eventually you get connected with more and more people. That's how your networking grows.
That's wonderful. Now, you mentioned standing out in a crowded market in your book. What's one thing someone can do today to start separating themselves from that noise?
I would say the difference is if you're doing a food blog with me, it might sound really hard. You might think that there's a camera crew with me, but no, it's me. It's mostly me and my phone, and sometimes it takes like 3 or 4 takes to do like one clip of a food
Mm,
plate or something if I'm at a restaurant. Because thing is, if you're with a crew, your video is going to be filmed a lot differently. If you're doing it by yourself, it's filmed.
mm,
That's the thing. What makes me stand out is I don't have a crew. I do all the editing myself. I do all the work myself. I do like everything myself for my blog. I don't have the. I'm not gonna hire people. And one thing is, when you hire people, you might want to be careful when it comes to your password. That's why I don't trust that. I do it by myself.
mm.
If I affiliate, then I affiliate using Google Docs and stuff, but I'm very protective of my passwords. So that's why yeah, if I have to do short film acting, and that's a different story. That's when it comes to
Right.
acting. When I'm doing my own food blog, I'm the one who holds the handle. So that's why I
Mm,
I do it alone, my filming and everything. So I don't do it with a crew. If you do with a crew, your video is gonna look, it's gonna have different angles. With me, you only see one angle, and that's what makes me stand out because
mm.
I
When you're still there, I think I lost you.
hello.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad we're back. I think
Yeah, I don't know
I think
what
we lost
happened.
you there for a minute. That's fine. That's fine. Well, you mentioned about collaborating with different restaurants, and maybe other local businesses. What's the best way to approach a brand or a restaurant for the first time? If I'm someone that wanted to start my blogging career, but I'm not sure how to start a collaboration with other local restaurants. How do I do that? How do I make that first approach?
I would say is you talk to the manager in the restaurant and say, "Look, I'm a new food blogger, and I really want to review your restaurant because it's good. So I will do is I will review the food that I ordered. I will pay, and I will tag you, and then you could share it with me as long as the manager is okay with you and okay the way how you're filming." Getting exactly the positivity out for each meal and everything, like how you see Mark Queens do, or you see any of those big food bloggers do, then you are good. But if you're going to give a negative review and you're going to say yes to the manager, that is going to cause a problem.
Mm,
So with me, whenever I review I go to any place, right? I always give positive reviews because that's the one
mm,
thing was gonna get you to work with other restaurants. You give a negative review, no one's gonna bother with you because every restaurant owner wants to hear good things about themselves, about the restaurant, and every food blogger wants to get ahead. So it's kind of reciprocal in that way.
mm. Right, right. Now, when you're doing your blogging, is it important to have a specific niche or a signature style when working towards a brand partnership?
I would say it matters on how you deliver the product. It's like when you do
Mm,
a brand partnership. Like there's certain requirements that what I mentioned earlier, there's certain requirements that companies have and certain requirements you have. So you have to come to an agreement while working on a brand. And you make sure to go through the terms before you actually work with a brand. Like when I was doing when I cover up the food festival last summer, so it
mhm,
was not much of a big agreement, but still I had some guidelines to follow, that what I have to
mhm,
do, okay, no, in the next 48 hours I have to get the video in. If I work anywhere else, there's a deadline, you have to do your work. So that's how it works with brand partnerships. But you have to also, it's not like you go to every single brand. No, you pick and choose the brand you want to work with. Do you want to work with a restaurant?
mhm.
Do you want to work with that? Do you want to work with a clothing brand? You want to promote this? You want to promote, what do you want to get in there?
That's a great tip. Now, speaking of tips, what's one tip from your book you wish someone had shared with you, had told you earlier when you were just starting your food blogging?
I think what I should have been told earlier was that that you need to start applying as a food blogger to food festivals to get started for a head start and to get started really
Mm,
fast. Because that thing I didn't know until I like in the last, I think like after COVID, a year after COVID, I got to know about it. I didn't know that before.
mm,
So I was just like, at that time, I was actually just like ordering meals and I was just like doing my food reviews. When I found out that no, that there's food festivals that actually ask for bloggers to come up and do their media events, then I'm like, okay, I wish I knew that earlier. So to every new food blogger, sign up as a media as a part of their media team and cover up
mm.
meals there. It's a great experience.
That's great. That's great. Now, for anyone watching right now who's unsure if they're good enough to start, what will you tell them?
I would just say, don't think, just start from somewhere. You need to first start with either doing a video or writing. I start with writing, but you can go straight directly to the videos. But it should be good. And you need to tag because that's important.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. But yeah, and I think, the meat in that answer is that just go for it. Go ahead and start.
Yeah,
Right?
don't think about what anyone's going to say or whatever. You're going to think more about what people are going to tell you. You're not going to get ahead. As a food blogger, as a blogger, you're going to go with what you go with, what your intuition is. You're going to get ahead because I've
Mm,
had negativity throughout, even now when I first started until now. I still
mm,
get picked on. Why do food blogs? Why this? Oh, I get these kind of messages all the time. So it's like you just go ahead, you start your food blog, someone's gonna connect with you. There'll be always be one person who's gonna help you in there. Like when I got to my food, when I did the food festival, I was told no, I won't get accepted, this, that, whatever. No, but luckily the food festival was cooperative enough. Luckily they were good. So there's always gonna be someone encouraging you, there's always gonna be someone who's gonna hate you. That's part of being a food blogger.
that's just life, I think.
Yeah.
Well, where can people grab a copy of In and Out the Food Blogger?
Well, you can find it on Amazon, on I think it's available in almost most countries, Europe, USA, Canada, I think Australia as well, and I think also in Iceland, I think it was so somewhere. But yeah, it's available everywhere. It's available in South Asia as well.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Very exciting. And are there any special bonuses, resources, or upcoming events for readers or aspiring bloggers that you'll be hosting or you'll be sharing in the future?
Well, I also do share my modeling journeys too, as well, whenever I model. So you'll be seeing that happening, I think, in the next uh 2-3 months. So a few
Mm,
things I have coming up, but I'm keeping it a bit down because I'm going to share it somehow, but I'm going to share it at the right time. So
wonderful. And
with the
how can people? Great, great. And how can people connect with you in case they want to stay updated?
you can just message me on Hunyah Travels, or you could just like message me on Facebook or on YouTube. You just comment on my videos that you need mentoring or you need some help in there. I'll be able to guide you at no cost.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Hunyah. This has been a very insightful, inspiring, and tasty conversation. In and Out of Being Food Blogger is a tool, a mentor, and a roadmap for every aspiring food blogger ready to stop watching from the sidelines and start showing up with strategy and purpose. So whether you're just starting out, feeling stuck, or ready to turn your passion into partnerships and paychecks, this book is your sign to take action. The ebook and paperback are now available on Amazon. So please go ahead and grab your copy, take notes, and start building your own food blog future today. Thank you so much, Hunyah, and thank you for sharing this wonderful book with us.
You're
I'm
welcome.
sure a lot more people will be inspired to start their own food blog in the future.
Thank you. Okay, and bye everyone.
Bye.